Well, good evening, everyone. I wasn't expecting to make a video today, actually. I got really busy this morning. I usually, Wednesday is the day I do the sheets. And, if there's any other, random chore that needs to be done, I do that every day, really. But I noticed last night that our refrigerator, which I bought for the previous house that we lived in, needed to be defrosted. And I bought that refrigerator because our previous house had this really shitty dorm style German fridge that didn't work very well. And we needed a bigger fridge. So I bought this fridge, but it is a no frills refrigerator. I wish I had bought a nicer one, actually, because it's just basically I would say most Americans would consider it kind of a small fridge, and it doesn't have any bells or whistles or anything. However, it was much nicer than the shitty dorm style fridge that was in our kitchen that kind of doubled as counter space. I mean, literally, it was like a dorm style fridge. And what was really funny is our previous landlady, who was a bit nutty, when we left, accused us of stealing that fridge. Not the shitty one, but the nice one that I bought. She accused us of absconding with that fridge. And it was mainly because we were suing her, basically. And it's a long story, which I'll happily talk about if anyone is interested. But anyway, it was kind of funny because I sent her the receipt for that fridge that I bought, as well as a picture of the shitty fridge that she claimed was an American fridge that was plugged into the wall, which, if you know anything about electricity, you know is not possible because American plugs and European plugs are different, and we have different voltage. But anyway, I'm glad I bought the fridge, but I spent about 45 minutes chipping ice out of the freezer this morning using my hairdryer. And by the time I was done, and then I had a big workout making the bed because I washed the duvet cover. And there's a trick that I just learned on how to put the duvet into the cover, but I did it wrong this morning. So I found myself putting the duvet in the old-fashioned way, which is a surprising workout. I won't make that mistake again. But by the time I was done with my chores this morning, I was just kind of exasperated and tired, and I just decided not to do anything on video. But right now I'm waiting for my husband to get home, and I'm thinking about the news that came out last night about Kristi Noem. And if you have been watching this channel, you might have noticed that last year, even though I've had this channel since 2006, and I've been putting content on it since 2009, I didn't start getting viewers here, really, until I started making song parodies about Kristi Noem. And I'm probably going to make another one this week, because I'm quite pissed off at her. It's not because she... this time it's not because of any of the stupid, cruel things that she does to animals and people, but just for the fact that she's a fucking idiot. And she doesn't even know what habeas corpus is. And it pisses me off that somebody who is in a cabinet, granted it is Trump's cabinet, doesn't even know what habeas corpus is. And she was asked, what is habeas corpus? And she said, habeas corpus is a constitutional right that the president has to be able to remove people from this country. I took civics in 8th grade, and maybe that was late, but that's just when that was offered where I went to school. I don't know where Christy was. She and I are approximately the same age. She's a little bit older than I am. I know she went to school in South Dakota. But this is a pretty basic thing. I know she's not a lawyer. I know she just got her college degree in 2012. But don't you think that if you are rounding up people and sending them to hellhole prisons in other countries, that you should know a little bit about the Constitution and who it protects and basic things like habeas corpus? It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing to Americans because the world is watching this. But it's also just, I mean, people were laughing at this. I really don't think it's funny. I don't. These are human beings. They have families. They have lives. Many of them have done nothing wrong other than just being born in the wrong place. Wrong in quotes. Personally, I've been wishing my ancestors hadn't left England, although I don't know that that's much better. It is better. I think it is better. Maybe. These are like people that contribute. They pay taxes. They're going to school. They're intelligent. They're scientists or, doctors or gay hairstylists who happen to have tattoos. Fathers. And they're getting sent out of the U.S. They never get a day in court. The way they're treated is absolutely horrible. And I don't know why some people think this is okay, but I just don't imagine how I would feel if a bunch of masked ICE people came up to me, like didn't even have enough regard to show an ID card to me, or I don't know who they are. They've got masks over their faces, and there's like 6 of them, and they tackle you and put you in handcuffs and shackles and a belly chain and like send you to some shithole. That's a person. But maybe, Christy famously or infamously got pissed off at an untrained German short-haired pointer or wired-haired pointer and then gleefully bragged about killing this dog simply because she went for chickens, which is what dogs do, and then getting angry at a billy goat for smelling bad and chasing her children, which is what billy goats do. Maybe she was chosen simply because of that. Personally, I think the reason she was chosen was because she kisses Trump's ass and he thinks she's hot. And if you've seen any pictures of Kristi Noem, you know there was a time not so long ago when she basically looked like a normal woman. Had some flaws, didn't have a bunch of Botox, didn't have the cascading hair or the long eyelashes or the plumped up collagen-filled lips. And now it's like she truly is trying to look like Melania and maybe Trump's favorite Fox News hostess. The only thing I haven't seen her do yet is wear a fuchsia blazer or a hot pink dress. Haven't seen that yet. And I may be just behind because I don't watch that. But it is pretty hard to miss it. You see it all the time. So anyway, I was quite angry about it. And this morning I was reading the New York Times and I looked at Facebook comments and there was a guy there. Somebody had made a comment about how 77 million Americans couldn't pass a civics test. And obviously Kristi couldn't either. And this dude comes on and starts going off about how the Democrats, all they know how to do is name call, which I find very funny. Because has he looked at the orange man? as he read some of the Orange Man's tweets or social media posts. Nobody name calls like Donald Trump does. So, and then he was like, "How's that working out for you clowns?" And I was just like, "So you're calling people who disagree with your political views clowns, as you are also complaining that they name call." And the guy comes back and writes this book about how Trump won in a landslide, which isn't true, and all this other crap that I was like, you're obviously asleep. Your eyes are closed, your mind is closed. I'll just leave you to it. But then he comes back with more, and it's like this long screed about his party and how my party is. Dude, I'm not a Democrat, okay? I don't belong to the Democratic Party. You cannot be a Democrat and still realize how fucked this situation is and how fucked up MAGA is. I don't vote for Republicans. Now I'm not. But there was a time when I did. And just because I realize how fucked this is, that doesn't make me a Democrat. Although maybe I will become one. I don't know. And then I went on the guy's profile and I saw that he said he loves Jesus. So, without getting into my politics, I just said, "Guy, if you love Jesus, then why are you acting in a way that is not really Christ-like? Calling people names and gloating about the fact that Trump won, and we have idiots like Kristi Noem in power. That's not really what Jesus would do, is it? Does he not realize that Jesus was a brown man from a faraway land? Today, if Jesus was in America, Trump would probably want him deported. There's no doubt in my mind." So you have guys like this who are claiming to be Christians and cheering about things that Kristi Noem does, which is just not, it's not fair, it's not humane. I feel great empathy for these people. I understand that some of them, quite a lot of them, have come to the country undocumented. I also know that it's not easy to get citizenship. It's expensive and there's a lot of red tape. And so I understand. It's not right, but I understand it. And I don't believe that we should be gleefully throwing people out of the country and sending them to prison, where they may or may not ever see the light of day again. I don't like having people like Kristi Noem representing me. And I think it's offensive that somebody who is a secretary does not know a simple term like habeas corpus. It's not funny to me. I don't think that's funny. And frankly, yesterday's story, yes, it was a bit funny, but it also really isn't funny. It isn't funny. It isn't funny that there are people in the United States who do things like put on a bulletproof vest and test it out on each other. That's just dumb. And these are people that are allowed to vote. So, it's a problem. That's about all I have to say. I'm going to turn off the video and wait for Bill. See you next video. Hopefully it will be something chirpy and musical. Bye.